space, and there's 70 small apartments. And also, who knows how many are gonna have extended families with cars. So that's one thing. So therefore, there's no parking available on Ashley Road at all. Because of the bike lanes and because of the width. And we're going to have an extra landscaping area in friendly apartments on the northern edges, northern part of the development that's in city property on the Ashley Road right away. That was there, and nobody ever saw that. And that's another question regarding Mr. Abdalakis' boss, who will prove that and didn't include that in the environmental impact statement to you. Now, the thing that I'm concerned about is if we put that nice little mini park that's going to serve pretty much the residents of that development exclusively on city property, we're actually eliminating any possibility of adding parking or bus stops or stopping lanes or whatever in front of the developments that are going to be needed in the immediate future, if not in the further distant future. That was my question regarding the improvements on Ashley Road. That little picturesque park is nice, but it's pretty much on city property, reducing the Ashley Road right of way. And it's for the benefit. That's it.
That's actually a good point, because the whole reason for justifying that bill, I think they called it PUD, right? And there was a lot of stuff against it. This is the one on Ashley Road across from the smart station.
Yeah.
The whole reason for putting it in is people wouldn't be driving and parking, they would be using the smart station or buses. So to take away the bus stops or parking for smart, which I don't know if it'll ever make it here, haha. I mean, that's, so you make a really good point, so
Yeah, I mean,
that needs to be looked at.
Richard, you know that.
This wouldn't affect the parking for smart, because that's much further south. This is on the north.
Yeah, but since smart's not coming, you need the bus stops and everything
Right.
to replace smart's
Yeah.
lack of availability.
Also school bus stop, because you have a lot of kids there, and I would expect that we provide bus transportation.
If we do, I don't know if it's gonna,
Even
bus
though,
route gonna be extended out there, Mike?
It could be, hasn't been talked about yet.
even though the sidewalk improvements on First Street will go a little bit towards giving safe access. But that was, it's really well on your way, and who knows if it can be changed at this point.
I did talk to the attorney about their building in the right of way.
Yeah,
Remember, we had that whole conversation, I
Yeah.
know Vanessa talked to you about it. And he said it's very common that happens in cities, that development is in the city right of way.
yeah.
And so I know, I don't want to get into the whole thing with you, but I did want to report back that I did speak to them, because I said that I would do that,
Yeah.
and we did. And he really didn't see a lot of red flags with it, and said it was pretty common practice, and we looked at our maps in town, and there's many examples of that.
Okay.
So, I know,
Yeah, if we do that, it'll be picturesque, but it'll actually will hamstring us for any other further improvements, which I believe will be necessary.
it just, I don't think we were ever satisfied with the amount of parking that they were providing, but there's the state, you
So
know.
I know that exactly.
The state's telling us, you know, we,
So I think the city's response would be to say, okay, you have lawfully mandated minimum parking, but we think you'll need more.
Yeah.
Because we look at all the areas on Cloverdale Boulevard, which are parallel parking up and down from those housing developments. And so we can actually provide space in the Ashley Road right of way for the extra parking. And that's what I think that little picturesque park will remove. Also preclude school bus stops.
on the west side of Boston Road,
Yes,
you think we should do parking?
no,
there?
on the east side,
Oh.
adjacent to instead of having the little park for the use of those people.
Yeah.
Because they have their own parks and their own green spaces. We should leave Ashley Road at its full 70-foot right of way width, so that we can add bus stops or parking as required, and I think they'll both be required very strongly.
So alleviate the park, just don't have the park.
Right, exactly, and the park will benefit me visually,
Mhm.
but it will actually hamstring the city in mitigating any parking or bus stops impacts required by that large development, that's all.
Calling it a park is a mischaracterization. It really is frontage improvements. It has the LID facilities that are required to be built for that development.
What does LID mean?
Low impact development, it's a state law, if you
For
create
water.
so much impervious surface, you have to create stormwater quality,
It's-
stormwater treatment.
It's on city
facilities.
property. but
It is,
on
it is
their
in the
property.
right of way, we are calling those frontage improvements. There are city policies that discourage parking in front of developments.
You're selling out the city of Cloverdale.
I
for the
disagree with
for
you, I
private
disagree with
golf.
you. There's
That's all I
also
mean.
a wetlands there, that you really can't do work in without getting approval from, I believe it's the Department of Fish and Game, the Army Corps of
The
Engineers.
wetlands are further south.
The
You're
wetlands are,
mistaken.
the
I've seen the
wetlands
map.
are in front of the project, they are on the
They
project
are-
parcel.
Wetlands are further south. The area I'm talking about has no wetlands at all.
Hey, Chair, if you'd like, we can initiate a 3-minute timer. This is a public meeting. If that's something, back and forth is typically not what we want.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. All right, number 6, manager report.
Yeah, we covered a lot of things, update, we've been doing some hot mix asphalt work. Over the beginning part of this year. In order to get more of a long-term fix on these potholes, these really bad sections, it seems to be working out, we ended up running a tack pot. And the guys did a great job surface prepping and all that, so just to kind of back up, my correspondence with the council. You guys, okay, the purchase of a CAT 255, and that comes with asphalt planer, we're gonna employ that planer to strategically cut out more spots and replace big hot mix asphalt, which is gonna be more of a long-term fix. For some of these roads that are considered that zero on the P-type report, there's really not much we can do. But we can salvage, sinkholes and things like that, where you have previously installed new sewer mains and stuff, and you see those ditches start to sink, we can grind those out and re-put those really easy. We've also purchased we went over the paint sprayer, we also purchased a hot mix crack sealer. So that's gonna be key in the future with this P-TAP report. And, the fact that the center section of the good roads is going out. Mitigating that water infiltration with this crack sealing, it's gonna be pivotal, because we're gonna only have so much time and money to bring the middle of the roads up to top standards, right? And so we're gonna have to make sure that as we go through, we maintain everything. And so, and stopping that infiltration is gonna, you'll see that as a lesson.
So that equipment's key then, huh?
Yes, and
How
so
much-
we already have that on hand.
How much is one of those tech pots?
We priced them from 15 to 22,000.
And how much are they to run?
It's about 1,000 for 3 weeks, plus we had to fill it.
Gotcha.
It was about 550 to fill.
I'm just curious,
But
because
during the summertime, they're unavailable for rent.
right, that's
So
where I
the
was
only
going
reason
with
we
it.
got- Everyone who owns an asphalt company has a tack pot, they're paving during the summer. It just so happens we're doing some paving in the winter when no one's paving.
What's the availability, where do you have to go to get one of those back? I mean, if you were to kick around purchasing one of those, would they be available to get within
One of
this paving?
One of the
period?
middle of the road good units came from a company called CO Master in Bakersfield.
Yeah,
I think they gave us a 6-day delivery or something from Bakersfield. There's a few other select companies, they're all about the week count.
I think that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but I think that if we're renting one for $1,000 to $2,000 for 3 weeks, and we've got a lot of these roads to do, it'd probably be nice to kick that around at the council budget meeting, whenever we finally have that, and get that in there and see if there's any way we can get one, so
Yeah, I'll put it on the.
Cloverdale has every tool it needs to turn around and be like, you know what, we've got potholes on this section of road, we got all the tools to do it, ready to break, and everybody's out doing it, instead of gunning for a rental. You know
Yeah,
what I
because
mean?
they should be tacking the
Mhm.
asphalt even when they're using cold
Right.
patch. So, which is not.
Okay.
If you're doing that once a week for a year, that's $52,000, right?
That's what I'm
Not
saying.
including the fill.
Right.
Exactly, so might be something to kick around on a budget thing or Eric to run a budget thing right there and throw that out and we'll talk about it at least and. So I'd like to see if we're really getting rolling on these roads and another piece of the puzzle is have all of the equipment we need to do what we need to do. And then our guys can rock with it, so. Cool. All right, well, let's move, anything else on that, on the public works section right there? Anyone? Okay. Let's move into water, number 7, South Crest water tanks.
Okay, so. Again, to recap my correspondence with council. We had a meeting, we're at the 30% design. We'll get the 30% design the first week of April. We've had a meeting with the water department. And the engineers for the project, and we're making a lot of headway, and water department's real happy. We're doing the 2 tanks. We're gonna totally destroy, dismantle the one existing tank system. Will be modified a little bit in order to continue to operate during the time when the tank's gone. We're gonna replace it with 2 tanks. We're leaning towards an exterior framed ceiling, keep sanitation up and corrosion out of the pockets. We also are looking at the different tank coatings and the front end costs of those. They gave us a quote for about 10 years. Per I think a mil thickness of coating. And generally it's like a 5-year coating, and then we're kind of leaning towards it. It may be advantageous on the front end to kind of lean towards more of a 30 or 40-year coating on these tanks. It's pennies on the dollar compared to what it is to have a tank drain, cleaned and sandblasted, recoated and everything. So the upfront cost is very minimal for the longevity of the tank. So that's where we're at on that.
Awesome.
When do you think we'll start on that actual physical?
Groundbreaking?
Yeah.
I don't know. It all depends on
just.
Same question, yeah, I mean, it's not, and it's, you know, that's
kind
what.
of availability at the 30% drawing stage. Not this summer, right?
We have to do sequel on that.
Yeah, what we're doing is we're going to look at the water master plan and look at how it was identified, the upgrade, and then we're gonna use that, leverage that onto the CEQA as something that was already planned.
We are looping in Raphael to work with us on the environmental care.
I know this is a big priority, so that's why I'm just.
Yeah.
And I expressed to Vanessa this is a big priority, so I think she's. Be working.
So
Yeah,
Derek,
that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Derek, what's the capacity of the 1 tank currently? It's been there since '66. And the 2 tank replacement, is that a net increase in capacity?
Yeah.
At that location, and by how much?
It's over double.
Oh, okay.
I forget the exact numbers that were in the tank drawings.
Yeah,
It's
a couple of my neighbors also asked me, do you have like an aerial shot or an elevation shot so we can look at what it might look like?
We don't have any renderings yet. We'll probably see those.
Yeah, just not landscaping, a drafted, I call it draft, I took drafting with T-squares and stuff a long time ago. Do you have something that shows the physical locations on the map?
The proposed locations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get you that.
Can you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's gonna go from 1 existing to the 2 tank option.
Yeah, we're getting.
And more capacity.
wanted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Are you able to get state grants because it's part of the state, say SB 852 for resilience and you've increased capacity to prevent drought? Is there an opportunity to get funding for that, whoever,
We have structured the project
to do that?
to be funding competitive. We can't ever say that we're gonna get funding,
Right,
but to at least be funding competitive. And so,
but that's under SB 852 as well, is that an additional opportunity there?
yeah, I think,
Because that's capital, it's not like the water meters kind of thing,
I
funding.
think we're gonna look at what funding opportunities are available when we're ready to
Okay.
cut this thing loose.
All right, well, 7 and 8.
So understanding that South Crest water tank is a priority, Vanessa
Yes.
thinks, well, 7 and 8 is a higher priority because we do have funding for that. And we are bound to a state timeline to deliver that project. So
Which is, what's the state timeline?
I believe it is construction by the end of this calendar year, if I'm remembering correctly.
Under construction starting.
No, be done.
Oh.
We need to be all done.
Yeah,
and
so
out
we
there.
are.
Full steam
tilt-
ahead.
Full tilt on this. We have got our formal bid docs. We're reviewing them and with the legal team, Vanessa, myself. The whole packet's ready to go. We should have our comments and everything done by the 27th. And then we're hoping to go, they're gonna put it out, I think of April 3rd.
Bid package,
We're hoping to have go out
March 10th,
March 10th.
with a bid opening April 9th.
Okay, April 9th.
Yes, at 2 o'clock here at City Hall. Anyways, if you're curious.
And so just run that by me again. I know we've kicked this around at a few of the meetings last year. Are we what are we doing, well, 7 and 8?
We are
Again,
replacing both.
Replace,
We
okay,
looked at a rehab of one.
gotcha, that's first.
We're replacing both.
And
Perfect.
we're replacing both wells. We're pouring new pads, building new buildings, all new pumps.
Okay.
The newer style checks that we prefer, not the silent checks that go inside, VFDs, SCADA integration, you know, the whole thing. We do have it split and documented for reasons of splitting into 2 projects where the well drilling itself.
That's the one going out to bid.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
ASAP is the bid.
That's the
Yes.
big
And then we have
gotcha.
everything else.
Okay,
So we are treating both projects like tier 3 projects. And then
Is there a lot of contractors who do that kind of work?
They're all in
Could be a
Santa
response.
Rosa, but
Mhm.
yeah,
Weeks.
yeah,
Weeks
so we're going-
Weeks is and.
there's a few.
Okay.
We're not concerned with getting
Okay, good.
interested bidders.
and then we will be using grant funds in addition with impact fees.
So are these 2 replacement wells, you going down a little deeper or
Yes,
by how, I'm curious, by how much is the bid requesting?
I
Oh.
think the exploratory wells are going down like 75 feet more,
Okay,
and then they're gonna pull the screens back up.
Yeah.
And test as they pull them
hold
up.
it back, okay, that's great. And is it still for both wells around $600,000 ballpark, are you expecting to spend?
More.
So it's gone way up.
You're saying complete projects or just well drilling?
No, complete, 2 replacements. Originally, a few years ago, when we got the rate increases, it estimated around $600,000 for both.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be considerably more than that. I don't think the engineers estimate.
lots of guys, just,
But it is gonna be more.
okay.
All right, where are we at? The SCADA wastewater project, item 9.
Okay,
That should be scanned with a D.
Yep.
Big acquisition.
That project that we went through council, we have an agreement. We did another meeting with Telstar, who's gonna do the SCADA project. They are just waiting for open window in their schedule and for some of the components to show up. It should be pretty quick project for them. We did go with the option to integrate Shahan lift station as a remote site. And that price did include the integration of the Bayou Collie lift station when it is accepted by the city. The quote was for the plant and the Shahan, then Bayou Collie, we're hoping the timing works out good because they're gonna be looking at that integration probably the end of April or in May for the Bayou Collie, and we're hoping everything gets finished there and we take it on. If they don't, we may have to further that stage that project out, but the plant and Shahan will be fully functioning then.
Should we take this one off?
You can take that off.
I think so, yeah.
So just one last question for me, is that one also $600,000 roughly to get it fully tested and operational?
That,
Or,
we went to council, that was like 165,000
Okay, yeah.
something,
okay.
and that was full wastewater plant integration and 2 remote sites.
Okay.
I think the 600,000 was when they wanted to do full plant integration, they were doing full replacement of all components, all motors,
Right.
all panels, and we opted
For
for
the,
just an upgrade
Great,
and
that's great.
installation.
Cool. So that's SCADA number 9. for the record, we'll take 9 off and SCADA wastewater project and remove up there, can come table it and come up if we need it again and talk about it as it goes on. Okay, number 10, annual water report.
Annual water, there's so many annual water reports now. So the EAR, what they call the electronic annual report, opened in January 17th. They give 60 days to get your report in. I was at the water plant today, going over some reporting documents, and our finance department, myself, and our senior water plant operator are currently working on it. Usually we try to get it in by the end of March. In middle of March, and that's what we're working on there. Other water reports, we have safer, what they call the safer clearinghouse reporting. We finished our monthly report, and then now we're gonna do our annual report, which is gonna be the annual water loss report. And so there's a few other EPA reports. Then, monthly testing and all that, but we are on track to achieve.
Question is, out of curiosity, how many reports do we send out for water monthly?
Monthly?
Yeah.
And
And the reason I'm asking, I've just heard that via news and
Yeah.
everything, is the amount of stuff we test for in California.
probably 5 or 6, like,
Really?
different reporting entities a month. We have a going list, and I think I wrote the subcommittee a year or two ago.
That's
I think
what
I'll
I'm
bring
saying,
it
that's
back.
what spurred the curiosity there.
If you count the annuals, 5 years, 10
Mhm.
years, all these things work. We're in.
I'm just trying to in my head
40s
figure out
reports.
staff time.
And they're not
being
small
used
reports
to-
either.
Yeah, I know.
We also did, we just re-upped the, it's a newer report, I forget, it's like a water conservation loss report. It's like a 15-page custom-made spreadsheet from the Division of Drinking Water that's incredibly difficult. We also just did the new lead and copper rule, which was a 3,600 line item spreadsheet. And they just actually emailed us back a week ago. They have specific curation requests that we have to go back and do.
Is there, moving forward, is there any way AI can help with writing some of those reports with Excel and filling in the data?
We can, but a lot of this data was, they wanted us to literally go to every single residence and look what pipe that comes up out of their standpipe, if they have one, what is going in and out of their meter. Once we have the data collected, the compilation of the data can be done by AI. We just haven't deployed that yet.
Sounds like regulation on my,
Mhm.
so don't do it.
Eventually,
As long as we don't have pipes.
Right. All right, number 11, water master plan proposal.
So there's a proposal in your package here. We do have funds budgeted for this fiscal year, which is coming to a close. So it felt like a good opportunity to bring this forward, see if there was an appetite for it. It's way overdue. The last water master plan was done in 2010. And so typically these things are done about every 10 years. I think the time to do these is especially to get ahead of development. This is really how we steer developers into what offsite improvements they may be required to build, and just to make sure that the demands of the growing population are met.
so you basically look forward on how much population could be expected and what our system currently has and what improvements will need to be made. And a lot of times developers are on the hook for that. If they need to bring a pipe in or upsize things, so. But like Vanessa said, when it's in a plan, we can point to the plan and say, you gotta do this. Versus, did Coastland do the last one, or?
Coastland did the last one, that's correct.
What's the rate? What's the requirement? How often do these have to be done? I know it hasn't been done since 2010, but
So every 10 years.
Is it?
It's
requirements
typically every 10
typically,
years.
or-
I don't know that there's a hard requirement for it.
Gotcha.
It's on the dock, I mean, it's really advantageous to us, because when a development comes in. And we say, well, we want you to build a water main through here, and they go, well, we don't wanna do that, and we go, listen. It's on our water master plan that all the public knows about, you knew about this when you started this project.
So our
So
plan
it's
is
really
15 years out of date.
Gotcha, that makes sense, and
So it gives us that much more room to leverage and plan out our system and say. This is
Okay.
what, and it helps the developer too, to plan for when they wanna come in and do projects, what they're gonna see as requested by the city.
So Kevin, how would we fund something like that and bring
We
this?
have
to
it
town?
budgeted,
We
a
do
certain
have-
amount budgeted.
Okay,
Water.
What did I see? I think we had
It's water.
250K.
So we want to get ahead of any new developments.
that's,
Yeah, you guys saw that in the budget,
mhm.
for the 2-year budget, it was in that building spreadsheet. Or sorry, the water spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Water.
And so an example, we're using the 2010 master plan right now to negotiate with the 6 acres water consolidation project. We want them to do a loop into Sherwood Court to upsize a certain pipeline that they're proposing, and it is specifically set forth in the master plan. So that's an example of where
Gotcha.
it
The
is
backing for.
advantageous to the
Okay.
city, right?
What
I
was
mean,
What was the plan a few years ago? Was there someone named Mark presented it to justify the rate increases? And they talked about doing a master plan this year for 200 grand, and then that identified the things you're working on, like the well replacement, chlorine tanks, all that stuff. So was that not a master plan? That was an interim plan to justify rate increases?
I think he was using the CIP.
He was,
Oh.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a 5-year capital improvement program, and we're probably in year, what, 4 now or something?
I believe so.
Well,
That
this
sounds
will
right.
help update the CIP.
This updates the
Yeah.
CIP and the previous
Yes.
master plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the previous master plan, in 2010, it would supersede that, and it
Right.
would help us going forward with the CIP.
Yeah, it would very much update the needs that we have identified in the last 10 years.
Because you're knocking them off, it seems, one by one.
I think maybe we ought to get this one if it is advantageous to us to, but
Okay,
things are going is
we'll get the scope.
run it through
and
Kevin
bring it
and-
back.
at your pleasure, put it on what the agenda for the council and let council get in there and make the decision. on
Do you
that one.
want us to come back to council with a scope? With a,
As much information as, yeah, as much information as we can get, Kevin, what do you think on taking,
I think she's got a scope in there.
yeah, and run it?
Yeah, I think
Just take it
then
to council.
Yeah, let's just take it to council and then move it off this list right here, and then council can debate it and figure out what we're gonna do, but if I see.
and it is a budgeted item.
Yes, exactly. Cool.
Question, does this water master plan include the possibility of reduced flows in the Rush River going forward?
We'll have to look at that when we start doing the plan. I mean,
It's a good point.
yeah, it's not 100%, but I mean, we do have to look at that also when we do the plan.
Yeah, Richard, I thought that's one of the reasons the wells are going deeper, right? To make sure you can maintain the level of water regardless of the Russian River flow, or no?
Yes, we want to make sure we capture all the available,
cross-section of water is there. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, is it? It goes so deep, is it under the influence of the Russian River, right?
it
There's
is,
a, there's a legal thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is. The whole.
It is, the whole bay, the whole valley is, right? It's not that people.
pretty much the whole city is kind of under the influence of the Russian.
Exactly, yeah.
The wells are going in because they're currently plagued with air entrainment under low flow and flash flooding conditions, and so this is gonna mitigate that.
Okay, perfect. And do we, when we got these nice year, I think we're like 110% of our annual rainfall already this year. Is there any plans to take any river water or rainwater and inject it down? Is that part of any of the discussions? Or create more swales around town so you can slow the drainage into the river and it sinks, or, those kind of things that being looked at? Either in the master plan
City is not, yeah,
Doing a
county.
study on that.
Yeah.
County,
or then we have a county interface. And the reason I was asking is, I'm not sure if it was Todd or one of the other council members talked about learning from the Groundwater Sustainable Agency. That was done a while ago for the Santa Rosa Plain. I know we're not, that's not us, but
Right.
if it's county related, is there anything Gore and Company can do to?
I remember Gore talking about that,
Yeah.
they were studying it, but I don't know that I don't think it's that far along.
Yeah,
About-
because I mean, if you've got
Groundwater
swales, you've got
recharge.
injection,
Yeah.
groundwater recharge, that helps us, obviously.
It's a good idea.
I know it's just, any of the meetings open, it's just pure concept and talk about, projects for ground.
Yeah, but now we always, well, it seems ridiculous. We got, what, 3 years now in a row where we've gone significant over the 100% level
Mhm.
in this part of the world, so it'd be great to
Capture it. Mhm.
Yeah, even some of the people, I used to live in Santa Rosa, a lot of people I know bought, they call it rainwater things to do their irrigation in the yards. And they were doing rebates and stuff for residents of Santa Rosa. Is that anything we would look at, or? It's
Yeah,
not-
we can look at it, and anything water right now, Rob, is a topic of conversation.
Yeah.
Any idea out there, whether it's capturing what's running out of the river, or I'm sure, and it just hasn't come up in one of our meetings on the rainwater capturing. I know, Sebastopol's working on that quite a bit. They have some type of thing out there. It hasn't made it here yet, but it's gonna become. a
I'm trying to avoid a
conversation.
drought surcharge in the water bill.
I agree, yeah, yeah, so water's a hot item right now, and anything we can do to keep it, believe me, it's gonna come up in conversation.
Yeah.
Soon as it does, when we get any concrete stuff, we'll make sure it's on here.
Yeah, because I'd like
Try
to see
some
those
answers.
ideas translated into
Agreed.
action locally somehow, but
Yes.
maybe.
Cool.
So we'll put that water master plan on coming up in the council.
Yeah, let's do that,
It is budgeted, so.
Yeah. absolutely. All right, manager report for water, you kind of
We
covered it.
covered everything that you guys will see on your meeting tomorrow on consent. You'll see we have the water treatment plant OIT. We just finished the,
It's on new business.
yeah, oh, it's on new business, sorry, you'll see it on new business.
Cool.
We just finished the hiring process for the wastewater OIT.
Awesome,
We're hoping to open up the internal position that was freed up. And the water OIT within a week of you guys.
actually, it's been a year and a half talking about that. Ooh, finally something came to fruition there, it's awesome. Nice, all right, community development number 13, live.
Just one question.
Yes, Rob.
Derek, how far out has the Ritter Reservoir project been pushed?
That's the Cherry Creek, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
this
sorry.
Ritter tank is the.
No, I think.
No,
I don't think those are the same. Every tank is the
Or
same.
sorry.
It's two
Well, one's the
nations.
Cherry Creek Reservoir
South
rehab.
Crest is
Yeah.
Cherry.
Southcrest is Cherry Creek, and you have the Ritter tank, which is the tank that just is up on McCray Road.
It's the one up
Yeah,
there.
that just
right?
got painted with Go Eagles. Yeah.
So that one was originally slotted as well for expansion and whatnot, right?
There's two tanks up there, and we're at capacity there. I
Okay,
think. I'm not.
I'll have to update
aware.
this, but that's what was on the 5-year capital
Yeah,
improvement
I-
plan. That was because that's a big budget item, at least it was identified back when, yeah.
Yeah, we have two tanks up there now. One's a newer tank, one's an older
And
tank.
then we have a project with the second chlorine,
Yeah, the chlorine contact tank for the
and
plant.
that one's pushed out,
Yes.
okay.
13.
13 Live Oak subdivision, yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead, number 13, Live Oak Lane.
Live Oak, did we put that, what was that? Live Oak Lane, not Lane, Live Oak Drive.
There you go, let's drive.
Noted. Okay, so that is. I believe they're calling this the Anderson parcel map, which is annoying because we just had an Anderson parcel map that we,
There's two different.
two completely different.
I know.
But this Live Oak Lane subdivision, it's proposed as a 4-parcel split plus a remainder parcel. They're proposing to improve Oak. Live Oak, there you go, Live Oak, up to the intersection and then Live Oak Drive. And constructing a cul-de-sac turnaround, which is gonna be required by fire. And so they still have not, fully completed their tentative map application. They're still going back and forth, with some iterations based on, engineering comments and fire comments. And so I think we're at about the fifth submittal at this point. Anyways, I think we are looking at right-of-way dedication for the cul-de-sac bulb itself. And that's something I would advocate for, because we need to be able to enforce that. There's a safety issue back there. People aren't gonna be able to park along that Live Oak Drive. It's gonna be very skinny. Live Oak, yes, Drive. And they're also not gonna be able to park in the cul-de-sac itself. And so the only way to really enforce these no parking zones is to keep that as city right of way.
And Richard, just, so you know, the parcel maps don't go to a hearing anymore.
Yeah.
They're approved
Yeah.
by the state.
Do you have a new map? Because I just have the old one.
I'll look. I don't think there's anything.
There's no
Yeah,
fault-
there's
there's no
not a
fault.
new map. I think right now it is back and forth with comments from fire. And then at last check-in, the engineer kind of sent me a picture of a bulb and said, how about this? And I told her, we need to see plans. And so it TBD, but as soon as we get something in, we'll push it out.
All right,
You want to take this off or?
yeah, I think, I mean, we can, yeah, remove that one. And then the one that everybody's asking about, number 14-101 North status.
I just had to talk to them today.
Really?
Yeah.
Where are they at?
Oh my God, so. Since, for months, they've been saying they're creating plans, so he said that, they're like 10 days out on these plans, they hired an architect from San Francisco, their words. And the plans are gonna be really good and complete and thorough, and they should be within 10 days. And then he also asked, which I will have to route around to other departments, about the possibility of doing something there in the interim, like pulling a food truck in there once in a while. I said, write it up.
Pop-up style?
Yeah, I said, write it up in an email and I'll route it to police and everyone can see if anyone has any problems with it. It seems okay, we'll put conditions on it, like just for a few months. People it may not fly, but they're gonna try to do something like that. So we'll see if anyone has any issues.
Well, I mean, it might be a good idea when Friday Night Live kicks off is use that as an area to go when everybody goes down and gets food, more vendors coming up, bringing more money to the city.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
just between, I'm kind of annoyed with these
Right.
people, I just,
It's not just between us.
feel like they're on it. I hope they're not listening.
Right.
They,
Well, can you actually say that we've got an architect out of San Francisco, did they give you a name?
No.
So maybe we ask for the name,
yeah,
I mean.
they've been,
that's-
they've
that's-
made us responsible.
I know, but that's digging deeper, so I mean, it's just like, well, we wanna see if those architects are, they build in communities or downtown areas. They have the experience, they know what they're doing, so plans come, we can already vet. Do they exist? Yeah.
Really, that.
I know.
It's a change in occupancy, and they've done a bunch of work already, piecemeal. And then we got caught doing work without permits, and we went easy on them, honestly. So
They
they
have
also,
PG&E, right?
that was one of the things, they had a window with PG&E. That they were really serious about. If we don't get this by December 15th or whatever it was, they're telling us it's gonna be months. So we said, all right, well, you can get an electrical permit just for that. And they did that, but I did notice there's like a mini split on the back of the thing now, and I don't
I'm
think
not sure if they were metered yet or green tagged or anything, because they didn't give load calculations for anything.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
there's no calculations, so.
Right.
They're not really interested.
I'll keep on.
That's all you can do.
I mean, I did mention that, Mike Nixon's still interested in buying it if they wanted to.
Right. There you go.
That's it.
So you can leave them out.
We'll keep that one on there, because I know everybody's asking about that one right there. Not the only one wondering. Anything else on that, on community development?
Yeah, that's it.
Go right into Parks and Rec, parking
All right.
permits.
Which time do we got?
Yeah, make it quick, buddy.
Yeah, so most of the smaller projects are covered under the weekly newsletter that we do every other week now, which is good. I just wanted to take just a little bit of time here to go through some of the more significant projects here with parks. I'll start here with 16 park improvements. So just at Ferber Park, we've been tackling a few projects there at Ferber Park. Just recently, I know I keep bringing it up, recently we built the bag toss court, cornhole court, which has been very popular there. And a a lot of interest, I see a lot of folks using it. And then recently, we added some solar lights on some of the like high priority sections of the trail where we thought, where it was dark at night. Those are
Those
pretty
turn out
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, I drove by there the other night, just through the change.
Yeah.
Those are cool, yeah.
One of the nice things about those lights, thank you for your help.
Oh, yeah.
One of the nice things about those lights is when you walk by them, it's got a motion detector. So it illuminates, it comes, you know, we have them set at like 30% right now, and when you walk by, they'll illuminate to 100%,
No, perfect.
which is good, and not only does it act like a light for the trail, but also a security light. For the nighttime, so we got that, and then we got that going in our Furby Park, and also at Furby Park. Kevin and I met with Miracle Playground to replace the existing playground. And we talked about it for the last few years, that it was very difficult for us to find vendors that would sell us any parts, part replacements for the playground. Due to the fact that the playground company that originally created the playground is no longer in business. So I'm very happy the city council decided to go forward with the replacement of the park. The playground structure, so we're according to them, right, Kevin, they said that within the contract has been executed with them, so we're thinking here in the next few weeks, we should have a new playground on there. So we're working on the smaller, finer details, we got all the insurance requirements and all that from the company. And then just for Park again, we re-slurry and restriped the main parking lot there, the west side of the park. So that's a big, we've gotten a lot of positive feedback from the community about there's actually more adequate parking for folks. Instead of taking over 2 parking spots, now you can follow the line, so that's pretty cool. And then the last thing for Ferber Park is we've been working with the Lions Club and Little League, which sounds like between both of them, they're gonna donate a scoreboard at Ferber Park.
To those existing files out there?
Yes.
Nice.
So the only thing we would have to contribute would be to bring power to the poles, which is, we already met with a certified electrician, he's giving us a quote for that. And then, which is gonna be awesome, because it's pretty much covering, the Lions Club and Little League are covering most of the costs.
Sweet.
So that's gonna be huge there for there.
Did you get a local contractor for that?
Yes, local contractor. We always put out the bids for the local contractors first, they get the first bids, and for the most part, most of the contractors that we work here on the parks and streets are local. It's good to keep the money here and leave the money here. That's that, as far as park improvements, they go one more here, the dog park, this is more of you guys know the dog park is very popular, we've had there's so many residents that take advantage of the park. Just recently, we came, I think they emailed me, city council members as well, they wanted to, they were requesting a safety padding to wrap around the 6x6 shade structure post. So I've been looking at possibilities, one of the fastest response that I could give them was that we were gonna go in there and shave the 45s, the corners of the 4x4 post. And then we're gonna go, hopefully, I was gonna talk to Kevin and everyone here to see if look for some directions, see if you would like me to go forward. And
They
find
got any
some
things
guy.
like you wrap goalposts with? You know what I mean, is that what they're looking for?
They're looking for like a padding that goes around football fields, yeah.
Hmm.
Cause they're saying that the dogs are running into it, and I said, I'll bring it up today. We had an inquiry.
Did somebody talk to the dogs?
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
we had an inquiry again this morning, I said, well, bring it up.
I think maybe 45, shaving down the sharp corners and see how it pans out
Yeah.
from there, you
I've
know?
never seen that, and when we've had our dog at the dog park.
Yeah, so I figured just bring it forward, I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna get a sander and maybe do some modifications to the existing 6x6 posts. And get rid of the sharp edges. And then, see how that thing, small stuff, I put it in there.
Well, when it's 110, the shade structure is a good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then.
Don't take your animals out now, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, but so far it's been positive, everybody's been loving the shade structure, thanks to the Rotary Club for donating the shade structures. And then the last thing there for the park, we were planning on creating a ADA ramp. That's from the front gate out to one of the shade structures, probably the west side of the structure. probably keep it along the fence there to keep it away from the entrance, so it doesn't create any tripping hazards for any dog to trip.
I
And
think
so,
I'm wondering on that, the cheapest route for that is like we were talking, is just throw
These
some
cheap-
base rock in there.
yeah, so I consulted with Anderson, who's
Yeah.
excavating, who's
Yeah.
going to build the park, and he said that if we stay within his grade, because he graded the park.
Yeah.
If we stay within his grade, we should be okay. If we don't dig down any further, so we would have to shoot some elevations out there just to make sure we're meeting the standards for ADA, but he's like, if you stay within grade, should be good. We just gotta do some modifications out there to make sure that when you open the gate, your wheelchair is able to wheel itself to the right.
Exactly. That was.
We might have to change like the way the gate swings, maybe swing it the other way. Anyway, it's small, but that's something we can do in-house.
Right.
We can do that.
Good idea.
Yeah, so just to make the park access for everybody,
Yeah.
so everybody can enjoy it.
Cool. Anything else on parks or?
I think that's for the update, that's for that one. I think the next one is,
Survey results for the plaza.
Mike,
it was gonna help me there.
All right, everybody, can you hear me?
yeah,
Perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so you can check out the survey. We're gonna run through it pretty quickly. I'm just gonna go over the results and then you guys can discuss with Superintendent Galvan. So question 1 was basically the age. You guys can all see my screen, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you can kind of see that the majority of folks was 35 to 44, and then it went up, and then we had a lot of folks in 65 and up, which I guess would be the majority, 104. So we had 292 answered this question, but it's pretty good age range. We're used to not seeing a lot of under 18. We didn't, we marketed this on our website. We're not expecting a lot of teens to fill this out and kids, but we know that kids use the park. We're really interested in what their parents and other adults are wanting for the plaza. So into question 2 is a frequency of park use. It looks like most people are really just kind of using it. They use it weekly, monthly, but events is by far the largest percentage. Typical time of usage, events was the largest, followed by evenings, afternoons, and mornings, which is pretty much what we expected. Favorite activities in the park, you can see that Friday Night Live had a resounding almost up to the 90% almost. Next being the farmers market, annual parades, annual car show, which was expected. So we were kind of looking more at the results under that, as far as what people are utilizing the park for that aren't events. You can kind of see some people just take breaks from work downtown, eat their lunch downtown, just to rest and relax. Some people are doing walking, jogging, exercise, and fitness down there. Moving on to question number 5. This just continued. Shows a different percentage of it all. Question number 5, how would you rate the accessibility of Plaza Park for visitors with disabilities or mobility challenges? Happy to see a resounding good and excellent. Fair, a few poor. We'll have to dive into the comments to see what that what those 5 folks, 1.74% of the responses. Hopefully some of them provided some responses as to why they think that, because we're always interested in that kind of information. Question 6, how would you rate the current park facilities? Also great that we see a good. Want to see a little bit more excellent, so that's why we're taking this survey. Fair was a little higher than we'd obviously like, but that's the point, like I said, of the survey, to hopefully add some amenities or look at what we can do in the future to improve this park. Most desired amenity improvements ranked highest to lowest. You can see that the highest one is additional seating, cement seating, things like that, and for the events, things like, we've kind of talked about in-house options, but people are definitely interested in how can they sit down at that stage a little better and view the stage, especially knowing that, 100 plus of the respondents were 65 and up. Obviously, seating is important for prolonged times. So I think that's, as expected, but something to definitely look into. Improve shading, as we all know, it can be hot in Cloverdale, especially during some of those events. Improved landscaping, improved lighting, stage improvements, some lawn games, kind of like we've been putting the bag toss or other permanent structures in some of the other parks. Some folks are desiring that here. Same like the large chess or checker tables. We kind of put a whole range of different ideas, and you can tell that how they scored here. Moving on to question 8, you can dive into each one of these 136 answers because these were kind of a fill-in. AI went and did a little word cloud for us, and it kind of just took words that were used multiple times. The bigger the word, the more it was used. As you can see, add seating, make it better. So there's a lot of comments. These are going to go to our park superintendent for him to review. I'll review through them too, but you can really get a relative sense of what people are interested in here. Things like homeless, obviously that most of those comments are geared to having less homeless in the park or working towards amenities to find places for them to go that aren't in the recreation space. But, and again, these are not my words. I'm just responding based on the answers provided by the public. You can kind of see what people are interested in, but these results can also be sent to the subcommittee for review if you'd like to really dive into each of those answers. See, 157 people skipped it of the survey, of those who took the survey. And question number 9, what type of events or programs, children, adults, and senior would you like to see organized by the Parks and Recreation Department, specifically at Plaza Park in the future? As you know, myself and Hector are taking a real spearhead on recreation. The goal is to get more. And you can see here.
Mike,
Yeah,
right where your arrow is, can you explain what the public's looking for a love community?
I'd have to look into that. That means enough people wrote. I think they're different colors, so it's actually love is one word and community is
Okay.
a shade of
I was
blue.
trying to figure that one out when I was, I thought, maybe.
Yeah, the word cloud, that was
Yeah.
a funny way they put that together.
Gotcha.
So really for here, it looks like the resounding number of people just want events. They want more things going on downtown. They want art, they want crafts, they want kid activities, they want things for teens, they want different classes like yogas and more flea markets and farmers markets and exercise classes, all the kind of things that we were expecting. But it is nice to be able to see, you know, what more of the folks are, what they're kind of leaning towards. So we'll be able to dive into those. 152 people answered this question, 141 skipped. Again, we'll have to dive into those specific answers a little more to get their specifics, but like kind of like the word maybe, I don't know what that means. So we'll have to, but a lot of people wrote that. So it's probably like, maybe we can do this or maybe we can do that, but the word cloud can't differentiate it. Anyway, just give you a general idea without diving into all 152 answers of what people are looking for. And that's really, it was a really basic, quick survey. We had it out there for quite a few months. I think it was up there for 4 months, available to the public. And that's all I got there. So I don't know if Hector, you wanted to cover anything or have any, if we want to discuss any potential plans we have for the plaza, or I know a lot of these things are gonna, you know, they're funding allocated, so we'll have to discuss with council at future times, but this at least can spark the conversation. We can kind of know what the public's looking for.
Thanks, Mike. Just since we had that survey, the survey was up, you're saying 4 or 5 months. Since that survey, we added some of the things that the folks that did the survey kind of emailed us separately. One of the items was improved landscaping, which we worked with. They didn't want to see we had some struggling shrubs over near the west entrance of the plaza. So we got rid of all that and we added some mulch and we pruned up the trees real nice. So that was one of the landscaping improvements that they had in there.
Way better. Yeah.
So we started with that already. And then right when we set out somewhere around the same time, when we set out the survey, we added the shade over the trellis, the stage. So that was a big, because not only is that gonna be like for shade, but also for winter, when we have winter fest and winter festivals and stuff like that. So that was part of the deal. So that's one of the things that we worked on since then. And then we've also added a few more the metal benches downtown. And then obviously the restrooms that we had a couple years ago.
And we're planning to do the lights.
So we have, so that's one of the things that was in there.
Yeah.
Stage lights, and we're gonna add additional outlets for vendors. And then we're gonna have some lights, we're gonna have some speakers up there. So that's something we're
Are the
working on.
speakers gonna stay out? Or are we gonna?
No, we're gonna rig them so you can plug them in and hook them, and they're all digital, so you don't have to have like run any wires to it. So you have to,
Are those the ones that Mark
Yeah.
recommended?
he recommended Mark Farrington from,
Yeah.
but they're not like the ones I used to hook up with my 87 Honda. This one's like digital.
Box out there.
Yeah, so this is gonna be nice. I think, having that, the plaza, inviting, for some of these vendors to just come in and just set up, really, they don't have to put
We're
lights.
gonna redo the fans.
Yeah,
The only other thing I was thinking too, and it's on there is the seating. That's always a hot item. I'm wondering, and I don't know, we can run this by council or keep it live on here so we can come up with ideas, but you know, between the outpost and the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what they're, I know what a
Some
lot,
that are there.
yeah, because they have to step up to that and people put their chairs out there on Wednesday night, you know what I mean? And maybe shave that and make that plaza, go, you know what I mean? Make it more of a,
Steps, yeah.
what am I looking for?
Amphitheater.
Amphitheater style, right there, all the way from the bottom up.
Curve and just step it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. You could do that. That'd make-
Stadium seating was definitely one of the high requests in those comments.
Exactly.
And we'll get rid of a bunch of lawn,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
will save water.
Yep,
Do you want this to go to the council?
yeah, I think
The
so.
survey, Mike?
I think so. I think they should see it because Friday Night Live and Winterfest and all those things down there brings a majority of the people here in the summer and that brings us a lot of bucks. So it would be worth kind of looking at this time, the council kick it around to see if, hey, you know, people from Healdsburg and Windsor that come up and say, you guys have a lot more fun up here than we do in our cities. And I was like, okay, well, let's get some people up here.
One things not to add to your, this is just,
Sure.
this might be a bad idea, but what if we put on that front of the stage misters? When it's super hot, and then when we do our fans, it's gonna blow right into the
We
crowd.
can do,
It'd probably be cheap.
snowflakes during Christmas.
There you go.
I bought a misting fan off Amazon for $100, dude. We're
Yeah.
like a champ.
I think, I don't know.
Put a couple of those out there. It's cheap.
Sorry, Hector.
Sure. We'll get.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Right, a couple of auto lines out there, call it a day.
Yeah.
We're just about the flying kites, like the shade structures themselves, you know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that'd be,
those are pretty inexpensive.
They are.
Oh, that's like some sales.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I got those in my backyard,
Yeah.
protecting my plants, I mean, it'd be perfect, because
oh, yeah.
when the sun comes down at that time of night, it's still baking hot.
Maybe,
Yeah, I've seen them before, they core drill the concrete. And then they have the poles at an angle with those triangles on too, and you put them in, it tops it out.
Chair, for the record, you want this item to go to the council, is it more just to present the survey results, or do you want to have an actual discussion item?
Yeah, Mike, I think that we should have it go to council just to present the survey, because that's gonna spur a lot of ideas. It'll keep driving this thing, we'll keep it live and going, so I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay, perfect,
Thanks, man.
thank you.
And regarding the seating around the semicircle, retaining wall, that's a retaining wall that everybody sits on. So if you eliminate that, then you'll be eliminating a lot of easy seating.
No,
well,
you're not.
we're leaving
We'll
it.
give another
Yeah,
one.
Talking
that's-
amphitheater style.
Yeah,
So,
building up to that.
Oh, so how are you gonna access this amphitheater if you have a retaining wall in front?
We'll cut a path right in the middle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Path, probably a path and steps, both.
Got it, gotcha.
You wanna design it for us, Richard?
Pardon me?
You wanna design it for us?
I'm retired.
Come on.
I'd be happy to chime in. I'm happy to.
I think it'd be great.
You really, the
Kind of movies down there.
positive design was done by a good architect, it's a good design. If this were to be modified as you suspect, then I would hope you'd get a professional to help you with that.
Oh, yeah, no, we would.
And probably a landscape architect would be the best, my opinion.
Mhm.
Perfect. Thank you for the.
No, But adding the restrooms is was huge for everybody, for the whole entire community.
Oh, that's expensive.
Yeah. So, big.
all right, let's roll into 18 Scout Cabin. Status.
So, Ken and I have been working with, Trini Fiorito Architects.
Excellent architect.
As far as the CDBG grant program, grant that we got for, some ADA access to the Scout Lab.
Yes, we got about 270,000, thanks, Vanessa did a lot of work on that too. To improve ADA access.
Bring me up to speed on what's the Scouts Cabin.
So it's that building structure, you know what Second Street City Park is, right next to the gazebo.
Okay.
The Scouts Hut,
Oh, okay, yeah.
some people call it Scouts Hut, Girl Scouts.
We got a grant to help the ADA, so however far that will get us, you know, has to be a formal bid and all that, so it's kind of more expensive it's a lot more money spent on paper. But then we also kind of committed, we have this, what we call, one of the impact fees is the Quimby Act funds. And there's 500,000 or 600,000 in there, so we've already discussed at the council potentially using some of that money to combine with our grant to get that thing up and running, make it a hub for our recreation program. maybe some offices. It's actually a pretty big space. If you wanna go check it out, let us know.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Because another thing we discussed in the past, which would be a great, it would be a great opportunity to bring some revenue.
It's got a
to rent it
kitchen,
out.
it's got a kitchen and
As part of this program is to redo the kitchen. And then you can rent it out, I mean, there's like not too many places here in Clover that you can rent out for events. You can rent that thing and make bring in some good money for the park.
Is there any way we can combine that dilapidated gazebo into this and have that built?
That's one of
Sitting
the,
like this,
I don't know,
you know what I mean? It needs to be done bad.
Yeah.
So
we just take it down and put it in one.
yeah,
that would be the easiest way to do it.
It's going.
that's part of that.
So Hector met with the architect and he's working on, they did all the measurements and. So we're just waiting to hear back and we told him our programming needs for it, so. The idea is to try to get him to do a bigger plan, so we can use both the ADA, the CDBG money for the ADA and then our own money, just have a full plan.
Nice.
It's gonna be cool.
And
It's going
just
slow.
like idea throwing, brainstorming, but potentially in the future, if we look at that thing as a potential cooling center, heating center to respond to extreme weather,
Mhm.
that could be another funding avenue. That maybe incorporates that gazebo.
Mhm.
Just for the record, in case anyone's curious in the public, this is Cloverdale City Park. We're talking about the building at the back. It's called.
Yeah.
It's going slow though, so we want.
I pushed them, I had pretty
Randy took
pretty rough conversation. About it.
Yeah, just keep our foot on
Yeah,
the
get this
gas
going.
on that one. Cause that'd be key, especially people going up for the next item right there, Soda Springs, and see something like that's gonna draw them into that park if it's nice.
So the maps there and just.
Mhm.
So the Soda Springs is, we have the sequel contractor underway. We had a meeting, was it yesterday or?
Yeah.
Getting a scope of the projects. First thing we have to do is evaluate the environmental impacts of the project, part of the funding. It's all paid for from the county.
Gotcha.
That's gonna take 2 or 3 months. I mean, we're being pretty optimistic, but we think it's gonna be open in early fall.
Sweet.
I think we should get it open. We have and I can show you the maps, I think I showed you to you there, the Citrus Fair.
Yeah,
We have a proposed trail plan system that we're gonna do with, we're gonna implement with Ken Wells, who is a Redwood, Trail Alliance. And we met with them a couple times just right now, and then, it's gonna be really good asset in the city. We mentioned it in the past, but one of the reasons why that park is gonna be such an asset, it's gonna be such a great thing. It's situated between 2 parks, so it's situated between Second Street City Park and Vintage Meadows, which is a new park. So we're gonna try to, we're gonna connect them and we're gonna try to encourage folks to park at Second Street City Park. And walk up, and then they can use the facilities there, and the same thing goes for Vintage Meadows. We're gonna have a soft entrance on, this is North Foothill Boulevard.
Mhm.
We're gonna have a soft entrance there, there's plenty of parking there, and encourage, so to trying to alleviate some of the traffic flow on Second Street.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be, that's the reason why.
you can have like a matrix to show the path through. Or-
Yeah, we'll have that.
Kiosk maps.
Kiosk maps, all that.
And you say it's like, it's 1.2 miles from start to finish.
Yeah, all that.
Okay.
Yeah, they just, so kind of like we have, what pretty. So that's
All right, what else? Vegetation management.
Well, that's really an effort that we've been undertaking now the last few years, taking it pretty serious, and we've been just going out there looking for resources. We implemented the phase 4 vegetation management effort at Porterfield Creek Open Space Preserve, where the Northern Sonoma County Fire Fuels Crew, they go in and I get together with Chief Marshal Jenkins and then Marshall, and then we get together and we strategize the next phase. I guess this is phase 4, with an effort to create a fire break between the park and residents. If there's ever an incident, hopefully knock on wood, never does happen. But so right now we're in phase 4 and we pretty much cover the whole east side of the park. There's some stuff on top that we gotta do, some vegetation that we gotta manage stuff on top. So normally we go in there, we target about 10 to 12 acres every year, depending on budget. We just finished, we did the prescribed burning not too long ago. You probably got that next alert. We got that, and it was a success. The park-
I hiked that, so I've seen the stacks.
Yeah, so we're gonna bring the same effort over at Soda Springs Ranch. Kevin could tell you all the many arguments that I had with the the ag and open space district, because they didn't want to give us that much money for vegetation management, so we're like, hey, that's the biggest item, that's the biggest ticket, that's the biggest item on the park, so they finally we're able to work something out, they give us some funding to keep continuing this effort and create that fire break from Porterville Creek all the way out to here. In case, incidents or just to keep it more inviting for folks, so we're gonna do that with that.
Real quick, in Porterfield, we're on the hook to put some stairs in.
Yes.
It's about, do you tell them where they have to decommission it? So they came out, the ag and open space inspected it to see what we were up to, and there was some trails in there that bootlegged in. We had to get rid of those,
You got rid of them already.
and then we have to put towards the 20 tons, 100 stairs.
So the park,
Isn't there like 3 or 4 guys that volunteer their time to go? up
yeah,
there?
they're great.
Yeah.
Rick Baldwin is there every day. So originally, so we had to decommission 2 trails. They were originally deer trails and folks started hiking it. So we got rid of decommissioned the 2 trails. And then now the park is, how old is it now? 10, 12 years old. Some of the steps are starting to deteriorate, especially on one of the most important trails, which is on Diamo Trail. So now the steps are starting to deteriorate. So one of the things that we worked out with Ken, we're trying to get the quote to see if he can, it's a combination of 2 things. One of the things is to show us how to build them, the way we're certified to build them. And he would build a few, and then we would build a few, and then between him and us, the community volunteers, we'll be able to fix them, to get some trails at a lower cost. There's like 100 steps,
It's 30 grand.
and that's with us
Helping.
helping and Rick, yeah, it's expensive. So,
Crazy.
but otherwise, yeah, so that's the way it is. And
It's just-
it's every 10 years.
These just like thunder steps, like you grab a shovel and build some steps.
It is.
They're like 6x6s notched, or they
Yeah.
4x4s.
Oh, their actual
the-
back
Sill, and then
And then,
guys, you're not hiking.
Can
right,
we get the conservation corps out there?
yeah, we've been looking at,
that quote is with volunteers.
that's code for volunteers.
Crazy.
Go bring volunteers, I'll bring park staff, and then more volunteers from the city. There's 100 steps, it's super expensive, Ken Wells is a very known trail builder. So just having his signature on it is, from ag and open space, it's
They're good.
good.
It's a gold standard.
Yeah, and so that we're working with him, we're trying to see if we can give us a better deal, because he's gonna be helping us with Soda Springs Ranch. He's gonna be doing all the trails out there.
And that's pressure treated. He wants to use redwood.
Yeah, I was like, you know, Redwood's gonna cost 3
He's the-
times.
yeah,
I didn't wanna get splinters.
He doesn't want to cut it, right?
On my own, but
Yeah,
One thing, and I mentioned, remember vegetation management, the only thing I have is, there's a couple spots that people keep bringing up, and it was that 1 hectare, right there. Between the bathrooms across Foothill at Vintage Meadows, that 1 strip there that has all those roses?
yeah.
So, yeah, the 2 houses behind there, Lynn, I can't remember her last name, and Chrissy, they both are.
Yeah, I know there.
Yeah. They mentioned, hey, it'd be nice if they would just take those things out, their garbage collectors, their whatever, the homeless folks go in there and sleep there. It would look so much better if they could just pull those roses out and throw some mulch in there. I mean, so that would be good, that's just a suggestion, and I said, hey, I can run it by people, I can't guarantee anything, you know what I mean, it's not my gig, but. I think it clean that section up, and that's one of the vegetation, the only reason I'm bringing it up, it's been 2 or 3 times, they said, hey, what's the scoop, so, there you go.
Okay.
In the vegetation management, I don't know if this falls under that, but like in the older part, like these trees that are 20, 30, 40 years old, and they're pushing up sidewalks, like you go up Cherry Creek, you go down by that Mayor, Denmar, and
Yeah.
Allen, all those streets have those old trees, and they're just, the sidewalks are just, hodgepodge.
So one of the things the community's perception is that the city is responsible for those streets. It's actually the homeowner's responsibility.
Because I know that it says the sidewalks are the homeowner's responsibility.
And when I get there, I get the bad,
No, I know.
I'll get a service request and I show up and I'm like, how do I tell you that this is his responsibility?
Yeah, I mean,
What do
it's,
you mean? I said, I can help you with, with some of the stuff, but, I think, we get that all over town, but in most cases, unless there's streets up and down the boulevard or around parks, the responsibility for repairs.
We haven't had requests to fix it and let the homeowners know that it's their responsibility. And we've worked with homeowners that have these tripping hazards in front of their house that ultimately they're responsible for. when they want to fix it themselves, we've kind of helped facilitate that
Yeah.
for them, with reducing the encroachment permit fees, because what we don't want is, we don't want the homeowners to incur costs and fees so much as to where the project's not viable for them,
Right.
because having that
It
tripping
just gets
hazard
worse, man.
mitigated
Yeah.
is what we want ultimately, right?
Yeah, we help.
So especially if the homeowner's gonna take on that job, we definitely help them facilitate.
Okay, so with that being said, when that one lady came to council and said she couldn't walk down the sidewalk because of the overgrowth of the bushes. And if you go, I don't know where she was talking, but when I walked like up Cherry Creek on the south side, you turn off the South Boulevard by Seven Palms and you walk that sidewalk,
Mhm.
the overgrowth,
That's whoever owns that bush, that's a homeowner thing, so that would be we could put door hangers on there. So
I mean, is
trying to
that-
have the public right of way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying right
Yeah.
there. So even though it's a public right of way, the city doesn't own it, but we can enforce the
Yeah.
homeowner.
Yes.
Okay,
Exactly.
I guess that's what we need to.
And there's been special situations, and I'm guilty of it.
Yeah.
There's special situations where they put a service request. Instead of
Just
guilt,
do it.
and I go out there and just do it for them because they're older.
Yeah,
they're
it takes
very-
two
they
seconds.
can't do it,
Right,
They
right.
don't have the equipment and stuff, you know what, I'll take care of it, I just sign this,
Yeah.
so, but yeah. And we try to work with everybody, for the most part, there, we get positive feedback, oh, we didn't know it was our responsibility.
Yeah.
So,
Question?
Yeah.
Now that the city has a chipper, is there any possibility of using that chipper to help city residents get rid of the brush piles, especially during the hot months? The county does that.
Yeah, I know the county does have a program where you.
Yeah, their
can
chipper
ask them-
program that you apply for and, so that would be a county thing. I don't know.
No, the county won't do it for the city.
No,
Now the city has a chipper, can the
Yeah.
city have a similar program? For when you have a pile of brush trimmings, et cetera, during the times when you can't burn. Chipping those for residents, either for a fee or for free. Because I don't think you use your chipper every day, do you?
no, not really.
Yeah,
would say
so when
design-
you're sitting idle, then,
Someone has to operate it.
well, designing,
I know, that's what
designing that type of program
Having the staff to do it.
in the
too.
city, yeah, having the staff, but designing the program, I would say the amount of people who
we take advantage of it.
have the ability to create a large pile of debris and then plan on burning it, but not be able to burn it, is probably pretty finite. Like you're probably in a special situation,
Yeah.
and people in the outskirts of the
Right,
city
yeah.
limits, a very small amount of the community have enough land to accumulate all that, right? And most people are gonna filter it into their green bin, and then, we may explore by special request for ecology, extra green bins at certain locations, things like that, right? I think designing a program at that scale, because the county consists of,
County's mostly
tens of thousands of
rural. Yeah,
properties
rural,
like that,
yeah.
but
Right.
the rural properties inside the city limits are very finite.
Right.
I mean, there could be special requests
What
or
if
haulage requests,
dumpster somewhere?
Ecology, I think they might, special occasions.
we're always willing to work with
Yeah,
once in a
Just in
while.
terms of time,
Well,
it takes a lot of time to fill up an ecology card efficiently,
Mhm.
whereas a chipper could do that in 15 minutes, whereas it take me half a day or a day to do it.
well, who organizes the Christmas tree dumpster?
Ecology.
Maybe that we can incorporate that into a community.
Once a year.
Yeah, a community.
Springtime.
Spring cleaning.
Drop a dumpster somewhere and.
Yeah, that does have to be monitored extremely well, because you'll wake up in the morning and it'll be empty, and the next day it'll be full of TVs, refrigerators.
Yeah, I know.
We do that with when we do their river cleanup.
Yep.
See that?
We'll ask for ecology.
Yeah, well, ask them, I took notes, we can ask them.
Yeah, all I can do is, all I can say is.
Yeah. And then just the last thing, vegetation management, we are right now, we have some fire prone areas of the River Park Trail. I have the Northern Sonoma County Fire Fuels crew right now, today and tomorrow and the following day. Chief Marshall from Geyserville, he's the fire chief from Marshall. He donated 2 days to us for, like, proof 10, so it's like cutting everything and chipping everything for 2 days. The additional day, they're just gonna cut and we're gonna chip with our chipper. And this is, I said Kevin video earlier today. And Darren, we started right in front of the water plant and cut all the vegetation on, between the water plant and the river. All the way out, we're gonna go up there and then every tree up and chip everything. And that's really gonna make a big difference. And then followed by that, we allocated some funding last year for sheep grazing.
Okay, so I've seen the sheep out there, so when you say you cut from the river to the fence, does that get into like, fishing game?
No, there's, as long as you stay with
The bank,
just the river, the actual like river park trail.
like trailer area.
So it's like you're going out like 12 feet, exactly.
Okay.
And that goes, but that really creates a barrier for the water plant in case there's ever, because I know we had some fires down by the river. For by homeless
Yeah,
folks, so no, we don't go down there, we don't. We stay on the section that we maintain, as far as the river park trail. And then so they're heading they went from the water plant north all the way to the footbridge. And that's from there on is county, so they're gonna go to there. And coming up, we have 300 sheep going through, so we're gonna follow up with, we do a lot of like mowing ourselves, and then the rest of it, that we can't get any mowers.
yeah, we got the sheep
Get the
guys.
sheep going in there, and then we're gonna, so in last year, it looked great,
Right, so where the city owns to the bridge and the county owns
north of that.
Oh, okay, so that explains why the one guy was out there chopping wood and moving it from here to there.
Yeah, we've been on top of those, some of those homeless that, I don't know where they get the chainsaws from, and,
It was a nice one too.
oh, gosh, yeah,
He was dumping trees down there. It would sound like as a logging unit.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, remember in Texas, I was like, this guy can't be
We
doing
did
this,
get
man.
I
notified.
know, I told Renee, I go, that doesn't look like a city worker.
I forget what the guy's name is, but he's down there with his sign.
Yeah, we notified the ranger, the park ranger, plus the county
Yeah,
staff, just to let them know this is activities going on, if you want to send a ranger out here. This is because that's county,
Well, they open and close the gate every day, right?
we open the gate, they close it.
Okay.
Yeah, we open, yeah, and so what we do, the park, so we have a contract with the county, and we maintain city staff, park staff. We maintain the restrooms and the garbage, and open the park, they close it.
Okay.
So yeah, it's, but so they're out there right now, this is it's gonna be a great effort, they want to bring the sheep in there.
And then what are you gonna do with the mulch?
What we do is you mulch and you spread it back under for the trees, because it's actually, it helps out the trees. After a while, they decompose, and it's just nutrients and fertilizer to the trees.
cool, man.
That's it.
All right, well, went through that, and all right, let's move into E. You guys ready to adjourn this meeting?
Yes.
Call it adjourned, Mike at
Wait.
3:36.
We're, I don't know, Mike,
If you wanna look at.
I'm signing.
Oh, yeah.